It all goes back to what is your why, and is your why strong enough, doesn't it?
Oh yeah.
Mm, mm. So look, we want to thank you guys for being here this morning, and this is the fabric that this is the fabric that motivates us. And we talked about sales and how important sales is. And like I said, this morning I wasn't feeling too good about sales. I wasn't feeling too good about sales, but listening to Ramon and what he shared just now and from the beginning, it should move you. And if that doesn't, like Ray said, your why should be big enough to make you sell. And that sums it up. It Look, we don't even have to have any training this morning. It should be a done deal. But we want to go ahead and get you trained because us being members of PDL Pro with the proven system to help you grow your business. We have something for you guys. We have the tools that you need to really get your business off and running. But today we want to share in our free training, and I want to thank you for being here and want to get started with our day today. We're going to cover sales and some. We're going to answer some of the questions. Last week on Tuesday we had needs training and some of that training, and if you can go back and review the video if you want. But today we want to get a little bit into depth, and that's to cover the questions. Today we're going to ask why ask questions, why we don't ask questions, the type of questions, what is a closed question, what are some advantages of closed questions? What are some disadvantages of closed questions? And what is an open question? What are some advantages of an open question? And what are some disadvantages of a closed question? And that's where we really want to get started today. And that's to give you a little rundown. I'm trying to be like my partner, Ramon. Yeah, I'm a little subject, so I'm going to cover. But anyway, I was researching this material, and why reinvent the wheel when you already got content out here. SlideShare is a place where most marketers should go to get a lot of information and to help you in your business. And so today, that's where I decided to work, being that professional, as I learned from my partner, Miss Renita, on Fridays when she does the LinkedIn training. And you guys know that LinkedIn owns SlideShare. So why ask questions? You want to gather specific information, understand attitudes, show we care, uncover needs and wants, helping to move quickly through the buying cycle. That's it. That's it in a nutshell. Why sales reps don't ask questions, or why do entrepreneurs, however you want to fill that into the blanks, like we say, it's all sales, so it comes back to us as entrepreneurs, that what we're doing. And Ramon touched on it so well this morning, is the fear of not knowing what the customer will say in response to the question, not knowing the products competitors will well enough. If you don't know your competitor well enough, you don't know anything about them, you haven't discovered any information, then yeah, you'll be scared. Not being left with adequate time to deliver the message. You're in a rush, or you're in a conversation back and forth, and you really can't get into what you're really trying to get across, and you're finding it difficult. Having to deviate from the plan. There it is. If you're not in control, you should always be in control as a sales rep when you're asking the questions. That's why certain types of questions you want to stay away from, because it keeps you off balance. It gives the person that you're asking more control. So you need to be able to guide them back to the conversation to get your target information you want. Some questions. What are the two most important skills you can use to generate dialogue to uncover your customers' needs? And then they give us an answer. So politely, asking good dialogue, generating questions, activate listening. And that's pretty much where we were at last week, was asking good questions so we can get the right information. So this brings us up to speed to where we want to be today. The types of questions. A lot of people say, What should I be asking? How should I be asking it? Well, here they say there's several types of questions: closed-end questions, open-end questions, and high-value questions. Now, the two that we're really going to cover today is more of the closed and open, and later on we'll get into the high-value questions. And I'm just going to give you a little bit of what they say here, and then we'll talk more in depth on. I have another source about the open and closed-end questions. Closing questions solicit limit responses. Yes, that keeps your control. Yes or no, one word responses, specific data or information. Most effective when used to narrow the focus of your conversation, clarify something that was just said, confirm that your understanding is correct, quickly learn more. And that's why I said, you got to have that understanding of when to ask certain types of questions, because there might be a point where you just want to get to that specific information. You don't want to give them a lot of wiggle room where they could just throw in a lot of stuff to keep you off balance, where you're losing control. So you might, open-end questions are more of the preferred in most sales, but you as a sales expert or once you really get your sales under your feet, you should be able to go between both of them to get the desired results from uh, your prospect or your potential customer or client or enrollee or whatever you're trying to do, your lead, however you want to call it. Closing questions. And this just gives us some examples, a few examples. Gather information. What, will, have, is, do you. Clarify and confirm. Is that right? Am I understanding you correctly? Does this help you? Have I addressed your concerns? Have you guys heard these before? Has anybody ever said these to you? I'm sure they have, especially if they were good salespeople. Open-end questions. Engage the customer in a dialogue. Help explore the customer's attitudes and buying habits. Undiscovers the customer's needs and concerns. What, why, how, and when. Examples of open-end questions is, what problems are you experiencing in this area? How come? When did you find? Please describe for me and tell me more about it. And see, those right there are two good, or not say two, but those are good questions to ask when you're really talking to your prospects and getting them to give you the information that you're searching for. So that was from there, and I want to continue with my slide on open-end questions. We're talking about what is a closed-end question, and we pretty much touched this, but I just want to give you some more definition of what my other source said about the closed-end questions. Just to, for those people, it's kind of confusing, but once you get into it, repetition, it'll open up to what they're actually doing with the open and closed-end questions. A closed-end questions looks for specific facts and often only requires only one word answers, which can be yes or no. Did you finish your homework? Yes or no. What time did that happen? You give a specific time. Are you going to buy that drink? Yes or no. Or buy a drink? Yes or no. Who won the football match? Specific questions. So, advantages of closed-end questions. Or I said closed-end questions. Closed questions, I always refer to closed-end questions from my training. Same thing. Closed questions are good for finding out specific information, which you guys know can help make decisions quickly and can help gather more information. The disadvantages of closed questions. Closed questions are not useful when dealing with emotional situations. Not effective when you want the response to be expressive and communicative feelings. That's if you want to have more information. If you really want to get a lot of information from a person, then closed-end questions is probably not the type of question that you want to ask. The respondent may think their answers are relevant. You know, they might think they're giving you what you need, but in all reality, they're not, because you're not getting enough information to really be able to formulate the sales, position the sales, or to be able to give them the solution to their problem. Because as salespeople, that's like Ramon said earlier, that's what we should be doing, is finding the problem and then offering a solution, which with PDL Pro, we have a solution to their needs. If they're into Aweber, if they're into GetResponse or any of these types of emailing systems, if they are gathering leads and they want a professional follow-up system, then PDL Pro solves those problems. And you have to know your product as well. Knowing the value of your product is something that you really want to do to become good in those sales areas. What is an open-end question? And I know a lot of this sounds repetitive, but like I said, I really want to drive this home between two sources just to get a different of opinion in what they're saying. An open question allows the respondent to develop their idea without limiting responses or controlling responses. The questions often require more than one word answer. And that's why I said that it could go anywhere when you ask an open-end question, because you're going to get all types of answers, and you might have to write a novel when you're kind of, Miss Pat always says you take your notepad and you take notes when you're interviewing that person. I kind of take it and put it in my head and listening, those listening skills. And we're going to get into that too. That's another skill that you have to develop as a salesperson, is being able to listen more effectively. Most people, as you find on the internet, they do less listening and more pitching. They pitch. That's the reason why they don't close people. It's because they do more pitching and less listening. 9 times out of 10, a person will give you all the information you need to close them, but you never listen to it. You put your product and your excitement before listening to that person and hearing their heart cry out to you, telling you what they really need. And because you have such a great product that you know how to position and give them the need. Like I always say, the art of sales is getting someone to do what they really don't even know that they want to do. But if I'm asking the questions, sooner or later, they're going to realize, yeah, I want that. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm looking for. That's it. How did you even know that? Because I asked the questions. What do you think would happen if? Sounds interesting. How does that work? How I like that. How does that work? You put them on the other shoe and let them tell me all about it. Tell me all about it. How do you feel about that? Those types of questions gets you all the information where you can harvest that information to turn that sale. Advantages of open-end questions. Sometimes you can help solve problems through open-end questions. And that's what we just talked about today. Solving problems, giving solutions. Respondent can include more information such as their feelings, attitudes, and understanding, so true feelings can be received. And there it is. You get to hear from the source exactly what they're needing and what they're crying out for. Can obtain extra and detailed information, and you get all the information. So this morning, this is the surface of what I want to skim over. The 2 types of questions. They said high value questions, and like I said, we'll probably get into the high value. We'll cover that. But the ones that most people deal with on a day-to-day in their sales is the open-end questions and the closed-end questions. Now, like I said before, open is the more preferred, but close can be used if you know how to use it and use it effectively. So once you get a little season on yourself and you're really trying to get specifics from that person, and you don't want to give them too much wiggle room to talk about their grandmother and their life story, and now you sat there for 2 hours and you want to get directly to the point, then being able to ask those closing questions to get that direct information is valued. So those are the two kind of questions that you really want to practice on. There's some more details if you go on Google in itself and type in open-end questions or open questions. I think you probably do better if you put in open-end. I don't know. This source that I got it from, Miss Pat, I didn't reference this person because it was an unknown source on SlideShare, so I didn't reference this person just to put my legal disclaimer out there. But like I said, those were the two types of questions, and if you want to look for, I always known it to be open-ended questions. I might be wrong, but that's but open questions is the same thing. But when you look for it in Google, I don't know if it'll show it or not, but you guys can take a look at it. Open questions, closed questions, and get familiar. There's a chart for days that I can go back, and we'll probably get into that in later training too, that gives you a chart of different types of questions to ask on both sides. And it might be a memory jogger or something that you might want to use and develop in your repertoire when you're out here doing your sales and talking to people. So I'm going to stop the recording.